At this moment, I happen to be doing a series, so you'll have to bear with me. But using your shield properly. Oh, wrong one. What's up? I am on Rohan, all that good stuff. My day is going pretty good. Hopefully yours is. You can always leave a comment on that if you wish. Now, I'm speaking of using your shield and all that. Well, if you are watching my character at this moment, you will notice I'm in transit. I'm trying to get to where I wish to be. You'll notice that there's hits why I'm trying to get there. Now, if I use my shield or my barrier properly, I shouldn't be getting any at all. Now, this can apply to multiple areas as far as your life goes. As it is that you wish to be where it is, your life happens to go. Do you not realize that your shield is more than just an instrument to block? It can be a very big part of your attack block. You realize how big a shield is? It's to cover a certain area of your being. Now the question is, while you're in transit, does it cover your being? While in transit, meaning where you wish to be. I'll give you a small example just from things from me. There are those that message me about certain things I can assure you that will not be. On both spectrums, wishing to help me from what they tell me. Others, well, they're not exactly trying to help me. But in the process of this, can you tell which are trying to help you and which are not? Only if you're using your shield correctly will you notice this upon this spot. There's a reason why I say this. doesn't mean you have to be defensive in every single thing you do. But when it comes to certain things that pertain to you and what it is that you happen to do, there's one thing you must keep in mind as it is that you choose to do. Many may claim to wish to help you, but the question is, do they actually? And can you tell when it is instead of allowing them in that you use your shield actually? I'll give you a small example of this in my personal. The one that has recently done my logo and working on stuff to come. They got to see my shield before things were to come. I told them my stipulations, and they had meet my stipulations. For those that just comment upon my videos and do not fully listen to my videos, I said if you are not able to prove that you are going to provide the service, then don't even mention you will provide the service. That is a preemptive shield strike. Blunt force. Telling you, you know what? You ain't getting anywhere before you even try to get anywhere. Straight up said, before you even start, your effort is dead. Unless you get past that. Not all realize that shields are more than just defensive items. They can be used offensively as well. Like in the short little clip where Leonidas hits that soldier with his shield. The blunt force off of that alone knocked him off his feet. Some people think of shields only to block. No. You realize how big most shields are? They're big enough to knock you on the ground. Okay? And if enough force can knock you out. Not even to the first round. Do you use yours properly? That's my topic. In your field, whatever it may be, do you already know what or who or how or where you might already see? I'll give you an example. Do you realize how many people message me per day on trying to, I don't know if they're trying to scam me or not, but they offer to promote or make it to where I am seen upon this spot. But no evidence is shown. This little outline stuff you see, this is actually from someone that I paid money for that they never delivered fully. Still haven't to this day. So this one that happened to come my way, say, you know what? I'll give you a logo and all this stuff upon this day. Said, I've already had this conversation upon this day. I trusted this one. Guaranteed me that they would. And yet, they did not. Only gave me previews. Of course, I still have receipts. And all that. Here's the funny thing about that. I'm not one to take and say, you know what? You burn me, I'm gonna burn you. I'm patiently waiting. At this point, still, for this one to do what it is they're supposed to do. I probably never might see it. There was another one even before that that offered, but it never got to that. But this one was so persistent that shows you the work. Or I showed you their work at the start. Before their work even started, they proved what it is they need to prove. These others, I just took their word. Wasn't using my shield at that time. But I was at the same time. For I still have these conversations. So regardless how long, I could be compensated because of these conversations. Now, while you're in transit, do you know this is something that can be true for you while you're in transit? To wherever it is that you wish to be. Now, I do not necessarily speak of physical violence. But if it comes down to it, you cannot help such things if it comes down to it. But in the situation you may be, is there a little bit of blunt force with your shield that has to be? I mean, straight up smacking somebody with it, or the situation that you happen to be. In fact, I've referenced this many times, if you chose to see. A shield that pushes back. This whole time I've been speaking of using your shield. as a weapon as well, not just something to deflect. Now, your shield, you might ask, what is this? It depends on how it is that you look at this. Is it your beliefs? Is it your standards? For each person, this shield may have different standards. That's like me. If you offer something to me, you better be able to prove upon the fact that you will actually provide what it is you offer. If you can't do so, you might as well not offer. Another example of this, for me at least. Do you realize how many daily requests on friend list I get? And there's usually just 2 that I happen to get. Now, using the shield that I happen to mention, as soon as someone happens to mention, so how is it that your stream is going? Or, do you mind if I see your channel? Or, where are you located? You have already, before I answer you, gotten a blunt force smack with the shield. I might answer you, but after that you get stopped in your tracks. I might say hi to you. Maybe. But for the most part, that's not even a maybe. No, at first I tried to deal with such things, but I got extremely sick of such things. So, anyone that applied to such things as this did not get any replies, if they even pertain to this. All of a sudden I go from 25 to 15 per day. I might get 5 or 6 per day. And the funny thing is, almost always the same thing they say. But I don't know you from someone that will not do. If it is that you happen to actually wish to do what it is you offer, at least as far as the ones for my channel or page you offer, first thing you better show proof, or no answer will be your proof. And for the ones that actually choose to watch, I give you permission to laugh as it is you watch. In the last 2 or 3 months, I have gotten over 50 people to say the same thing at some time between then and now, at some time once. Oh yeah, I'm not a scam. Oh yeah. No proof to it though. And you wonder why I stopped talking to you. Proof's in the pudding, isn't it? Just a small example. Using my shield. Upon this day, the results you get are the ones that you yourself yield. The ones that offer such things. Your own results you wield. Already warned you once. Won't do it again. In fact, that's why I stopped posting on my personal. Get tired of getting requests upon my personal. Don't care if I can post on less pages now. It will be easier for me to deal with now. In fact, more than likely I will lose a few of my views. But not having to deal with such a ruse. It's just an example of my shield as it moves. I know I might be giving a few personal examples. And all of that. But in the midst of that, if you are not able to prove what it is, the service you actually do, I wonder what it is that I will do. And you wonder why I will not speak to you. For I've already warned you and told you what it is you must do. The result that you get is totally 125% from this point up to you. Now, I say this percent saying that there is no other result there can be. So much so that there is more than yet more examples of your shield and why you should use it correctly. It's more than a defective thing. Some people don't even bother, for they think it is useless, for they should not bother. You can deflect and use blunt force. Do you know how bad it would hurt for a shield to be swung against you like the short little clip you happen to see? That would be brutal. It's like a clothesline. Okay, if you're running and you don't see it, and all of a sudden, you get stopped in your tracks and you fall on your butt, smacking your head as you fall back. Do you know how hard that is to deal with? And how much of that happens to hurt? But the question is, do you use yours correctly in your situation? Now I ask this, do you use the blunt force? Now, blocking attacks is one thing, but blocking the attack before it happens? Do you do that? As soon as certain things are mentioned, your decision is already decided before what you happen to mention. Or you have a standard to where if it is not what you request or declare upon that spot, no farther will you get. The only thing that you might get is saying something that off your back they will get. I even have some that are speaking to me personally now that I can already tell you I won't be using yours. You do not fit the description I've already said. Your effort before it starts has already been hit by blunt force and is dead. Do you know what happens to that individual after that? Watch the scene right after that. Now, this does not mean a physical attack, but what it is that they try to scam you or try to get something that they want from you. Small example of this for me is these girls that happen to message me. I'll tell you this right now. It doesn't matter when, where, or how. You will never get anywhere. No matter how think. No matter how it is that you happen to think. You might as well just give it up with these things. For no results will you see. Small example of blunt force from me. Don't care how good you look. For, in truth, I would not even look. Already have proof of that. For those that happen to be able to see that. But the question is about you. Is it that you know how to use the shield that is dedicated to you? Do you use it in the right way? Do you use it in your day-to-day? Do you even know when and where what it is you have to say? Do you know how to use your shield in the proper way? What it is you believe? What it is that you wish to see? What standards you might wish to be? What things you might stand for? Maybe even certain things you will not open, even if you see a door. Even if you happen to crave more. Now, unfortunately, I have to take a short little break for a second, so give me a second. No, I'll still speak for a second. Now, my question is, do we even know upon this second that you have so many ways that your shield can be used upon these days? Now I say this for that current reason. Is it that you wish to be more than what you see upon this season? Now I'm doing this without seeing the game for a second, for those that might wish not to see. Now, let me ask you this question, as it is that you cannot see. Do you know what it is that is attacking me? Do you have any perception? Can you even see? Or is it that you're blind to what is happening to me? Now that's another question about the shield that I speak of. Do you see when others might need a little help with their shield I speak of? You would never know. If there was no evidence to show. For those that choose not for such things to show, do you not realize if you choose it not to be shown, the help that you need, it will not be shown. No, using your shield does not always mean for yourself. Sometimes it means more in yourself. Sorry, my whole little thing automatically starts as soon as I switch back, but now that we got that addressed, I did that specifically because I had to go to the bathroom, and I wanted to use that as demonstration purposes. So, that shield that I ask you if you're using correctly, do you get what it is I ask you? Now I know I've given a lot in examples because there's a lot of things I'm facing, so I can give many examples. For those that might not understand why it is that I'm not posting my videos on my personal anymore. I'm tired of getting messages on my personal friend requests from people that are not actually willing to listen. If only I had as many subscribers as I have had friend requests in the last 3 months. I could have been getting paid to do this for the last 3 months. Then all you do is like it. Don't even listen to what it is that you happen to like it. Not knowing, it's kind of funny sometimes. Some of the ones that like it don't realize that technically speaking, if they listen to it, they shouldn't be liking it. For me, that's kind of funny. Of course, also, most are more concerned with themselves than helping another also. So that one I might have spoke of, maybe you might think of who it is that I happen to speak of. Are they at need of your shield? One that might be bigger than one they have. Maybe they're currently trying to learn to use the one that they have. Properly, that is. Or they get to know that that is what they need to show. Maybe they need to an example. Maybe they can use you as an example of what it is that they need to show. Maybe they need to see the blunt force that they must show when it is a devastating, off the feet, necessary kind of blow. But only one experienced for these techniques would they know. That's like I had a situation that happened today. Technically speaking, no, I'm not gonna go too much into specific. But if they tried to do what it is they tried to say they would do specific, according to rules that are set up above them, I would be the conqueror that is above them. And I already know that from the start to the end. Before it is that they try to make their blow. For them, my shield and blunt force already showed. Offering evidence that could be heard and shown. with that, what kind of damage can you do if someone that has a shield has that? I think I can give you the answer to that. This is the result of that. Subtle warning with that. Maybe it is the way that you happen to answer earlier upon this day. Maybe it is what it is that I currently say that made you answer the way you did just earlier today. But how is it that you use your shield? Is it good or bad results that you happen to yield? Do you know how it is to properly use your shield? Do you block? Do you use the force? But it is time for you to use this blunt force. Or do you think it is only to block? Do you not know a shield can be offensive? Not only just to block? You also gotta think how big it is. And not only that, the attack that gets reflected back. How much bigger does it happen to get after you do that? A block with blunt force. How much more damage with the one getting it back in return? I wonder, what number is it upon that return? Because not only your force is included, change of momentum, along with the ones that are using the shield's momentum, along with the size of the item of that momentum. Shields are not small, my friend. Not ones that are effective, my friend. They have to be big enough from the neck to the knee or to the thigh. This is the size you see. The vital organs other than what you are required to see. How much of that percentage of your body is the size of the shield you see? So how big is the shield that you need happen to be? And then count that into the momentum of it moving, reflecting back, you see. A shield that pushes back, one that uses blunt force as the attack is reflected back in the same direction as it is reflected back. Do you use it with this blunt force? Or do you not know that you can use this blunt force? Do you just use it without moving it in the direction it will reflect? Or is it that you even know how to reflect? To change the direction of what something happens to go. With or without the one to happen to know. And if it is a double-edged knife they happen to use, they wish to cause strife upon themselves with blunt force from the one they try to attack as they open those doors. How much more force will they get in return, as it is that one that chooses to reflect uses blunt force? Coupled with their weapon of their own. Is it as if you even have a weapon of your own? The one that gets it reflected back to them. What is the result for you in this tragic end? Your little battle you chose. You should have chose to never begin. Especially if one knows how to use such things as this. Blunt force tackled with the reflection of your own. The one that is attacking, of course. And then coupled with their own, the one reflecting's blunt force. And then their own weapon that just adds to it more. Someone that uses blunt force, it's not wise to mess with them. Or you will get an imprint upon your face of their shield in the end. On top of what they do with their weapon as well. If you do not know how it is, you use this. That is something you must learn. That is not something taught. It is something that is earned. Earned by the hardship that you might have faced. Maybe part of the reason why you are defensive upon this place. But then you finally figure out, you know what? I can use this shield as well, other than to block. I can use it as an attack block, setting me up for the final blow. That is, before my enemy happens to know. Not even seeing the shield hit them. For it is not that they know that it has hit them. But after the fact, they realize that you happen to do that. Standing for what it is you happen to stand. Not giving any lenience, regardless who it is. Relentless you stand. And ones that might fit a certain description. A shield with blunt force you happen to get. Before any answer or result you get. Your fault for following the same as another would do. As far as your general character that happens to be you. Remember how I said, how is it that your channel is going? Or something in the lines of that, or where are you from? As soon as someone answers me that, or asks me that, I generally know which way the conversation will go. And before they start, blunt force is used before they start. Saying, nope, not interested. Or, do not need your services. For in truth, you do not actually offer services. And if you do, you cannot prove upon the fact you do. And now, my biggest move with this blunt force. You are happening to be seeing that biggest move. No longer will I post videos with my normal personal account. Only with my gaming account. And ones that continue to speak as it is that they do. You will be blocked and deleted. I assure you, this is what I will do. Leaving all groups. With my personal account, I will leave all groups. And all those that happen to add me, you will either be one that is worthy to add me, or one that will go in the end. A shield that you will see from the start to the end. Using blunt force, for I do not care who it is, I use this blunt force. For those that wish to be more, at moments you must do this to ones that open certain doors. But you yourself declare which ones cannot be opened. For you are the one that decides on which ones can be open. If you decide it to be open, then it is as it is. But in certain ones, you cannot tolerate, regardless of your biz. But it is your choice of which one and which one is. Well, that looks like all the time I have for now. So, until next time.